aspect of myself will grab me and transport me to that person. And around that person I will see not only their physical surroundings, but also metaphorically around them I will see images and items which will give me an indication as to their condition and the causes behind it. And if there are any entities involved, they will usually be, manifesting there as well, which
now,
so it's very good to investigate.
So you're saying that there is an astral aspect to physical illness. Is that what you're talking about, or are you talking about purely astral illnesses?
That very, very often, I find there is very often, like all the time. There, I don't know what the percentage would be, but very, very high. If there is a condition in the astral body or the physical, or the energy body which underlies the physical, there is it will affect the physical body, and it will often cause various illnesses, diseases, and things to manifest in the physical body. So one part of the approach of healing and work in the astral is to remove these disease conditions from the astral and the energy body, and then heal the astral and energy body. So, and once that is healed, the physical body will follow suit and heal itself.
How interesting. And now, why do these things happen in the astral?
The astral is, a fascinating area. As to the whys of these things, there are hundreds of different explanations and reasons why. There are various, you could call them entities out there which are like predators, like the spiders you mentioned earlier. And they are, what they do is a very natural thing, and I think it is a part of the natural selection process, that some of these entities are attracted to certain conditions, and when they find these conditions in a human being, particular types of core images and lifestyle conditions, weaknesses in the energy body, this attracts them, and they feed upon that person, or you could say attach to them, and this can cause diseases and even fatal diseases. And the spiders you saw before, I wanted to mention, talking about the crossover you mentioned, there is often a crossover between waking and sleeping, which can last for various amounts of time, a couple of minutes sometimes, where you, for example, wake up and physically get out of bed, but you are seeing the physical world around you, but you're also seeing into the astral. Now, at the time you mentioned you got out of bed and you saw these big spiders, that would have been one of the crossover events there. It's like a type of clairvoyance where you are physically awake, but your brow center, your third eye, is very active, and you are seeing into the astral dimension as well. Now, if you are more aware in that particular state, in the astral dimension, it is very, very fluid, and it's affected by your mind. So it is possible to build things with your mind. You can build shields, weapons, various things, and they are quite effective with dealing with astral entities. For example, you could have, created a suit of armor and a sword and attacked them, or take a more modern approach and create an RPG or a flamethrower and burn them. And if you put enough of your essence into that and effort into the creation of these things, they are quite effective at repelling and removing astral entities.
So it's possible to have an actual presence in this level of reality, but most people don't. So are these entities entirely free to do pretty much whatever they want to people? What do we look like to them? What do we look like to them? Or do you know?
I think we look like lunch.
Like lunch? That's what I think. Exactly what we look like.
Yeah. Yeah, food is the universal. Food, energy is the universal, a universal thing. And I don't think these things are evil. They may look evil, but I mean, a spider is not evil. A spider is just a spider
eating a fly.
Yeah, I mean, a spider is just having its normal lunch.
Right.
Like you would go into McDonald's and have a hamburger.
That's exactly right. It's no big deal. Let me ask you about another type
but there are...
Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
No, please.
Yes, very little is known about these things, but we are learning more all the time.
And we're going to learn more in just a minute, but with Robert Bruce, as we go deeper into The Art of Mastering Astral Projection, his really very cool new book. This is Whitley Strieber. It is Dreamland, and we'll be right back. This is Whitley Strieber. It's Dreamland. We're back with Robert Bruce, Mastering Astral Projection. Robert, have you got a website?
Yes, I do. It is www.astraldynamics.com. Same title as my first book.
Right, astraldynamics.com. And what got you into this? Why would you even write a book like Astral Dynamics? What made you start traveling, Robert?
Well, I've traveled my entire life since the earliest memories I have. I think it was about 4 or 5 years of age when I would be flying around the house, and I've done a lot of this as I was growing up. And once I started getting involved with the internet and writing and helping people, it was just natural to write about that. And because I knew a lot about it, because I'd done it. And if I had any questions about, people would ask me a lot of questions on the internet many years ago, and I would simply sit down, have an astral projection, and explore that question, and or test something out, and come back with the answer. And then, because I was actually doing these things were, provable, repeatable sort of things, which other projectors would also go and emulate and find they were accurate. Yeah. So eventually, coming down to now, I wrote Mastering Astral Projection with my co-author, Brian Mercer, who was a wonderful help. And he provided a huge amount of enthusiasm and organisational skill and input, being a keen projector himself. And it was a winning combination. And now I move on to the next one. I've just sold another book called Foundations of Energy Work, which will be about a year's work.
You just started it?
And I think I've lost... Pardon?
You just started it?
Yes, I've started it and I've sold the book. I'm waiting for a contract now.
Ah, I see.
So I'm hoping that should come out in about a year's time, hopefully.
I see. Incidentally, folks, there's a little bit of a lag in terms of our conversation. You might notice that there are pauses because Robert is in Australia and I'm here in California, and there's quite a bit of distance between us. It's winter here, summer there, night here, day there. So that there's a bit of lag, and so excuse that if it sounds a little bit interrupted. In any case. Let's get back to the conversation, and in your book, you lay this out so well that I am tempted to believe that I could get proficient at this going through the book. Now, I say that advisedly because I've done a lot of this, most of it just naturally. In other words, these events that have happened to me have just happened. I did some very intentionally at the Monroe Institute. I took a gateway from Bob Monroe while he was alive, and it was a very, very extraordinary. I've had an out of one incredibly clear out of body experience where my full consciousness left my body, and I literally saw it lying there on the bed. I was outside of it completely, and I moved out into and through the wall of the cabin and into the outside, and I got nervous because I thought, I just would be the type of person who would monkey around with this and actually die and end up. I wondered if I get out of here too far, maybe I'll be in trouble. So I sort of went over to a tree that was nearby, and I saw that the tree was covered with a film that you didn't normally see, a sort of silvery film that I could touch in the astral and kind of pull off of it. It was like an energy, and it was very. It didn't adhere to anything, but it was like over all of the living creatures all around me. Then I went back into the house, into my bedroom, and tried to get back into my body, and it was like mercury inside my body. It was very slick, and I kept falling out of it.